want to know.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2025 horror thriller Dangerous Animals. The film is directed by Sean Byrne and it stars Hassie Harrison, Josh Houston, Ella Newton, and Jai Courtney. Right, okay, the film follows a young lady called Zephyr. She is an American in Australia, travelling around in a camper van, trying to catch some waves. She's a big surfing fan. And she unfortunately comes across a fella called Bruce Tucker, played by Jai Courtney. He has his own, fishing boat where he takes tourists on, to swim with the sharks. However, on the side, he's also a serial killer, and he abducts young women, women that he believes no one's going to come looking for, takes them out to sea, and essentially feeds them to the sharks and films it. He was himself attacked as a boy by a shark, so he's got this fascination with them, and this is how he gets his kicks, basically. However, he doesn't plan on Zephyr being such a strong woman, and she is not going to take this lightly, and she continuously fights back, desperate to save her life. Right, what are my thoughts on Dangerous Animals? Well, here we are again, folks. We have another shark film. It's the same pattern every year on this channel. I review 2, 3, 4 shark films, sometimes more. Most of them are bang average. This year we've had a couple of half-decent ones. And this one, actually, has been getting some really, really great reviews. I've been seeing quotes as best shark film since Jaws. Fantastic, brilliant, 4 stars, 5 stars, all that kind of stuff. So it immediately gets you very, very interested in this film. And I have to say, well, I might not agree that it's the best shark film since Jaws. This is a bloody good film. Very, very entertaining, very enjoyable, very watchable, and there's a lot of different reasons for that. I mean, the cast, first of all, I think are fantastic here. I think Hassie Harrison, who plays Zephyr, really, really good performance. It needed a very, very strong performance from a strong female lead here, and she gave it. This never give up attitude that she's got in this film. I mean, he really does have his hands full, Jai Courtney's character, Bruce. And honestly, Jai Courtney, I mean, I've been vocal of my criticisms of Jai Courtney in the past in the sense of I've not really been a fan of his work. I think he's generally quite bland as a performer. He's got one of those faces where he just kind of looks and acts the same in each film. But I have to say this is probably the best performance I've seen from him in a film. I'm not saying it's his best performance ever, but I've not seen everything he's ever done. But this, for me, is definitely right up there. This Bruce Tucker that he plays, he fully commits to the role. He's an absolute homicidal maniac. And he portrays that really, really well. Very unhinged performance, and very, very enjoyable. So you've got 2 fantastic leads here that really anchor this film, and that's what you need. I think, again, this is where a lot of shark films go wrong. It's poor writing generally, and they don't pay enough attention to the characters. All the best shark films have got strong characters. Whether you look at Jaws, Deep Blue Sea, whatever, they've got strong characters, memorable characters, and this absolutely has that as well. And you really do need that. You need a strong characters, you need a strong narrative, and then when you throw sharks into the mix, it just creates even more fun and enjoyment. And while you could never really describe this as a full-on shark movie, it is definitely It's got quite a lot of shark footage in it, if you like, but it's a serial killer film first. It's a thriller, a character piece, and if you like, the sharks in this film are just a tool or a plot device, if you like. But the scenes are absolutely incredibly effective. You know, people being like dangled into water like bait for the sharks, and it's absolutely brutal and gruesome. And you can't really think of many worse ways to go. So you really properly on the edge of your seat a couple of times in this film when those sort of things are happening, and you're like, "Oh my god, how are they going to get out of this?" And it's only really due to, generally speaking, Zephyr's like resourcefulness and quick thinking that she manages to kind of survive some really tight squeezes. And it's done very, very well in a sense of it's just pitched just right to keep you interested, on the edge of your seat when you need to be, and rooting for the central character here, Zephyr. There is also like a side plot line where at the beginning of the film she meets a young man, and they spend the night together. You know, it's a bit of a whirlwind romance. He's very interested. She's kind of, you know, dismissive of it because she doesn't want to commit. She basically buggers off without him knowing. But he feels something, and when he realizes that she's gone missing, he kind of tries to figure out where she is. And ultimately, that's like another side plot that kind of ties in eventually nicely to the movie, to the end of the movie. That works quite well. I just think this is a really well done horror thriller, with like some very, very effective shark scenes that I think worked really, really well. With a very memorable character from Jai Courtney as this Bruce Tucker. Fascinating serial killer. His fascination with sharks. What he does with his victims. And the film just doesn't mess about. I mean, the opening 5 minutes or so, 5-10 minutes, when we're introduced to Bruce, Jai Courtney's character, when he's taking these tourists out to swim with sharks, it's all very, you know, fun and enjoyable, and the tourists are having a great time, and then boom, just turns, and it's absolutely brutal. And that's kind of your starter for 10 for this film. It starts there and it doesn't really stop, and I really had a great time. This is easily the best shark film I have watched for a good few years. I can't think of a recent one that has surpassed this from the last 5 years or so. Maybe probably longer than that. And the reason why this film is so much better than many of those shark films is for the reasons that I've explained. Strong characters, strong writing. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, and the sharks are basically a plot device, really. They're kind of there. And when they use the sharks in this film, they use them very, very effectively. So, yeah, definitely check this one out if you're a fan of shark movies and you're a fan of serial killer films. It blends these two genres really very well indeed. And I doubt very much whether you'd come away from this one disappointed. I certainly didn't. So thanks for joining me for this review, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.